Hey, Josh, we're here from the Cartoon back to a new Simpsons review, new audience. The last one, go and check it out. And we are 3 episodes left of season 7. So this episode starts with a grandparents' day that is happening at the Springfield Elementary School. And of course, Bart not wanting to get embarrassed with Grandpa Simpson with all the others. And Mrs. Carbopple pretty much introducing and announcing, welcoming the grandparents. And Millhouses goes first, talking about his RV. And of course, Grandpa Simpson pretty much making a scene, which, yeah, Bart tries to stop him. And then Nelson's grandpa comes, because he was a judge. And, yeah, pretty much, yeah, him still trying to make a scene. And then Mrs. Carbopple tells Bart if his grandpa would like to come up, which, yeah, he does. And he tells everybody to listen to his story. And, yeah, Bart obviously getting very embarrassed and everybody laughing. Bart is being so humiliated in front of his class. And he's telling his family why did he have to do that and stuff. And him talking about, and then Lisa saying pretty much, old people are the greatest, pretty much talking about all the good stuff with the elderly, kind of like with SpongeBob. How SpongeBob was saying how old people are the greatest, they're full of wisdom and experience. And of course, Homer talking about something about with it. And yeah, we just see Grandpa Simpson pretty much sitting on his bed, giving these different males, and then seeing one of the sergeants, one of the army troops that he used to be with, has died. So obviously he goes to the grave with the pastor pretty much doing the funeral. It's only him and Mr. Burns are there, which they have the key. And they both put their locks in and drawing off the list. And it just leaves Burns and Grandpa Simpson on the list of the ones that to die on the army of the list. And of course, Mr. Burns telling him that, just rubbing in and how he isn't humiliated, and obviously his pants are falling down. And yeah, Grandpa Simpson is listening to Mr. Burns of obviously him wanting to tell Smithers to kill him. And yeah, his pants fall down again. And he's trying to find somebody to get him killed so he'll be able to get that fortune, which Smithers doesn't see that to be a good idea, because again, he's all fond with Grandpa Simpson, but obviously he doesn't care. Mr. Burns doesn't care, and he gets this guy to finish this for good, which, yeah, he pretty much helps Mr. Burns try to get rid of Grandpa Simpson. So while he's sleeping, he puts some poison, looks like, in his glass that has his teeth in it, and makes him wake up. Obviously throws the glass in the water and pretty much stuffs the clock in his mouth. And there you say, thinking that he's more clever than he looks, which he then gets that his family are coming to visit, which, yeah, he then says that he ducks because of a knife that gets thrown at him, which he thankfully ducks. And he says that the same guy and Mr. Burns, obviously trying to be Homer and Marge, and Smithers is obviously pretending to be Bart. And again, they're still plotting. Like, Mr. Burns is obviously not giving up, which they got one more tactic to get rid of him. and you will not believe this. Him coming out with his machine gun and pretty much shooting. And yeah, Grandpa Simpson obviously taking cover and thankfully not getting hit. And his friend is wondering, was that him or Grandpa Simpson? Which, yeah, he's still trying to fire. Thankfully, he's dodging and telling one of the nurses that somebody's trying to kill him. And yeah, he pretty much comes in and yeah, he's really going down to business with his Tommy gun. And then the nurse pretty much grabs a gun and says to pretty much try to sew him off. And he's trying to tell the Simpsons family to open up. And yeah, Homer's on for dad. Or Homer does not, like, he's saying, who is it, to his own dad. And of course, he's telling them exactly what happened. And obviously, he says that he can't tell him exactly why Mr. Burns is trying to kill him because this is a secret. And obviously, they're wondering where Grandpa Simpson is going to stay. And they keep saying Bart's room. Marge says Bart's room. Lisa says Bart's room. Homer says Bart's room. And then Bart says the dumpster, which they look at the dumpster. And no, Grandpa Simpson isn't staying in the dumpster. He's staying in Bart's room, which he tells him the story. He starts to tell him the story. It was in 1944 when he was in the army. And of course, we see the chief of police when he was in the army, and Principal Skinner as well when he was in the army, and also Barney, and of course their commander, which is obviously Mr. Burns, which they thought he was dead, but no, he wasn't. And yeah, him messing up every activity with them and nearly getting blown, but Grandpa Simpson saving him. And Bart is wondering why he's trying to kill Grandpa Simpson if he saved his life. And then he talks about how it became when pretty much they got these paintings which they're not supposed to take. Which, yeah, Grandpa Simpson saying that they don't think that it's a good idea. And then they pretty much, which Grandpa Simpson does say that he would rather do that. He knows it's bad, but he would rather do that than stay in a retirement home. Which, yeah, he ends up in a retirement home anyway. So they sign the papers, and each member of the crew pretty much get a reward of the ones that died. Which, obviously, not all of them have died if you go back, because Principal Skinner is alive, the Chief of Police is alive still, Barney is too. So, they seal the box, and, yeah, only the keys will be able to reveal it. And, of course, Grandpa Simpson thinking that his own grandson doesn't believe him. And then, bang, Mr. Burns comes in, demanding to get the keys. And he's not going to kill him, he just demands the keys. Which, yeah, he gives him the keys. Bart says that he would like to go, but obviously Mr. Burns refuses. And he goes, but he goes into Maggie's room, and Bart actually managed to get the keys. Yeah. And he tells Grandpa Simpson that they can pretty much bait Mr. Burns there since, well, obviously, because they got the keys now and not Mr. Burns. So they go. Homer's wondering where they're going. He's like, can I come on the treasure hunt? And then he's like, pass. And yeah, they pretty much talking when they get to the graves of their team, and once they put in the keys, or light signs, and it shows them exactly where they're going to have to dig or find the treasure, and it points to the lake. Wizzy tells Bart to go and get some diving supplies while he takes his boat, which is Ned's boat, which he lets borrow. And yeah, Bart is the one that's going to be able to get the treasure, which he dives in. He manages to find the treasure, and of course, Grandpa Simpson thinks that he's gone, but he's found the treasure. And they start to unlock it and find all the paintings. And the lights are out, of course. But Mr. Burns is obviously there, having his gun out, ready to fire if they don't give him the paintings. Which, yeah, he's demanding the paintings. Which, yeah, they take the paintings, and of course, Bart is telling Mr. Burns off, and obviously he points the gun at Bart, and Grandpa Simpson's like, you can take the paintings, but don't hurt his grandson. And he's like, I would rather do both. And he kicks Bart into the box where the treasure was, and he starts to drown. Yeah, Mr. Burns kind of does sort of go into attempt of murdering his worker's son, pretty much, Homer's son. Which, yeah, he ends up falling into the water, presumably about to drown. And, yeah, they pretty much they manage to start going away, and Grandpa Simpson obviously has no choice but to go in after him, which Bart is trying so hard to get some air, and when it looks like that he's going to drown, he manages to save him. And of course, they still go after the treasure. Which, yeah, they go, and Mr. Burns obviously needing to let go of some stuff to get off their tail, and Smithers pretty much says, it's been an honor working with you, sir, and he jumps into the water. And of course, Grandpa Simpson leaps into action and starts attacking Mr. Burns. And Mr. Burns saying to not kill him, and he says he's not going to kill him. He's going to pretty much, since Grandpa Simpson was the sergeant of Mr. Burns, he pretty much tells him that he is out, pretty much, and he is no longer part of his crew, and pretty much, and saying that he's dismissed. And they get the paintings back until they are assumingly in trouble, but they're returning the paintings to their rightful owners. And he's like, at least, and he'll be able to do it, or have some time with it. And saying that he would give Bart a hug, but he wouldn't want to humiliate him. But Bart said that it doesn't matter because he has a great grandpa, pretty much. Which the guy comes that has the painting saying to get a room, and Bart just opens his eyes like all shocked. But yeah, a real sweet ending to this episode. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoyed, which notifications turned on so much changing do, and let me know what y'all think.